My name's Roland Sands. I am a motorcycle builder, designer. Generally kind of stoked to bring things in my head to reality. That's what it is all about, bringing an idea to life. I mean, there's no more complete circle than that. That's the challenge, you know. I was around motorcycles, I mean, since I can remember, really. It's kind of been in my blood. When I was 18, I was like a drug addiction, man. Nothing else in my life really mattered a whole lot. It was like, I'm gonna go out and ride and race and try and win. So that's what I did for about 10 years. And I didn't know I was going to be a national champion, and I didn't know that I'd end up winning national road races and breaking track records and racing at the highest level. I really wanted to go and make something of myself that didn't really have to do with anybody else, because I knew that no one would be able to take that away from me, you know? Pushing myself seems kind of like a way of life. Every time I was on a bike, I'd push, and I'd always push past the limit, and now I really get the majority of my satisfaction from creation. I don't know, some people call me one of the top builders, I guess I am, but what's different is in this realm of building motorcycles, it's not about being the best as much as it's about just creating and wanting to build new stuff and cool stuff. To constantly innovate is the challenge, always doing something new and different. And today it's so tough because there's so many people building really great things, it's hard to stand out, you know? So you gotta constantly push. Creating something, it is about bringing something to life. A motorcycle to me is like the personification of that, because it like involves so many different things. It involves art, fabrication, design, engineering, rubber, steel, aluminum, titanium, paint, wood, whatever you can throw at it. So motorcycles are to me like the finest display of bringing an idea to life, making it real, making something you can actually touch, feel, and ride. That's what it's all about. Being on a bike for me is just essential to life. It's the purest expression of freedom and mobility. The faster you go, the harder you ride, the harder you push. You feel it so much more on a motorcycle. If you're going 100 miles an hour, you know it. It's draining physically, but also mentally, because you put so much focus into it. When you're on a bike, it strips everything else away. It just makes anything else in your life disappear. I'll never be away from bikes. It's just what I do, what my family does, what everyone I know does. So safe to say I'll be around for a little while. I don't see any other way for me personally but to just go after it every day. It just makes sense to me, so that's what I do. Life is one big project. You gotta hit it every day.
Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And folks, this is usually the time where I welcome you to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. So welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. What a revelation! What a revelation that is. Oh, it's one of those rare days. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Going to be giving away a couple of prizes that I think you will enjoy. These are from our partner sponsors that give us this bling, and we give it to you. So I'll tell you how when I come back from the break. Also, we'll take your calls when I come back from the break. Jan will take your call at 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. We do have our sweepstakes going on. Just go to Car Clinic Sweepstakes and enter to win. That's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of prizes. Again, now's the time to call in early so that you don't get rushed on the other end, so that I don't get rushed on the other end, so we can talk more thoroughly about the particular challenges you have with your car. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by Power Frame Grid Technology. Batteries may all look the same from the outside, but it's what's inside that really matters. Get a battery with the technology to be stronger and more dependable. Look for the Power Frame logo. Learn more at powerframe.com. Also, this segment brought to you in part by Carlson Quality Brake Hardware Kits. Folks, not all brake hardware is the same. Always replace your brake hardware and always insist on quality. Carlson Brake Hardware for certified fit and performance, and I'll be back. Not all brake hardware is the same. Carlson controls the design, engineering, and manufacturing for all their brake hardware for proper fit and performance. Carlson's state-of-the-art tools, equipment, and processes enable them to create quality parts with consistent curves, bends, and angles that meet even the tightest tolerances and specifications. Why risk your brake job with inferior brake hardware that may not fit or perform properly? Eliminate the risk by asking for Carlson Quality Brake Hardware Kits for every brake job.
If your car's air conditioning isn't blowing cold air,
it isn't.
Then you need an AC Pro.
Is there one around here?
Yeah, you.
Me? But I can't.
New do-it-yourself AC Pro is the 10-minute cold air solution. It's fast, easy, and saves you money. With AC Pro, you'll have cold air blowing again in just minutes.
Wow, it's freezing in here, and I did it myself.
See? You are an AC Pro.
Yes, I am.
New AC Pro, the 10-minute do-it-yourself auto AC cold air solution.
O'Reilly. Summer's heat can be draining, especially on your vehicle's battery. And O'Reilly Auto Parts has the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. Rising temperatures shorten battery life and place added stress on one that's about to fail. Don't get caught in the summer's heat with a dead battery. Get your battery tested today free of charge at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What is the number one cause of battery failure? Corrosion of the positive grid. The positive grid in the battery provides the power to start your car. Weak grids are susceptible to corrosion and expansion, leading to battery failure. Batteries with Power Frame Grid technology inside are up to 66% more durable and more corrosion resistant than other grid designs. Look for the Power Frame logo on the outside of your next battery. It means true strength on the inside. Visit powerframe.com to find a retailer near you.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
It straddles the line between timeless classic and modern luxury.
The grape tomato.
The ruby red in a sea of greens. The muse behind the great chef, Boyardee.
Beefaroni, mi amore.
Oh, tomato. vegetable.
What is identity?
Groceries, essentials, signature value.
The Everyday Collection by Target.
Hey, Todd. Where's our sub?
Oh, Samantha. I've already given my sub to Sally.
What? Sally? Hey, Samantha. How could you?
I got a phone call. Todd.
Men.
This is Todd.
Get your own steak and bacon melt with mountains of juicy steak and melty cheese. Subway Steak Melts. Subway. Eat fresh.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get started. So how's your car doing, and how are you doing with your automobile? You know, it's summertime, it's hot. The air conditioner, does it work, and does it work to suit you? We had an experience this past week. I say we, the producer, Tony Gregory, and I, with his wife's car, and I tell you, I'd say it worked out pretty well, wouldn't you, Tony?
Oh, yeah, it worked out. I mean, the lowest we could get it at first was, 61 degrees?
61 degrees,
It dropped almost 20 degrees after we used the AC Pro.
What car is it?
It's a 2007 Honda CR-V.
And had it ever been charged before?
Not that I know of.
And that was a prime candidate. And folks, we're going to share this with you. But in the meantime, Jan will take your call at 888 Car Clinic, 888-227-2546. So AC Pro is a sponsor and an advertiser on the program, and I've used the product and I like it. And you know, it's kind of a strange position because I'm in the professional automotive service industry, and I'm promoting an AC Pro, which is for a do-it-yourselfer. But there are times when you just don't have, number one, the time, and there are times when there's not really nothing. Not really nothing. Yeah, what kind of English is that? What grammar is that? There's not really anything wrong with your air conditioning except that it's just low. And AC, just like tires, don't make air. Air conditioning systems don't make refrigerant. They can only leak it. And you say, well, where does it leak? Because it's a sealed system. Well, it leaks through the seals, and it migrates through the hoses, and there are lots of places that, you know, where connections are. Primarily, probably the biggest place to leak of a AC system would be the compressor front seal. You know, you don't run it often, and then the seal kind of dries out. Or kind of like your arm, it atrophies, I guess is a better way to put it. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just over a period of time, all cars will leak. My Dodge, 10 years old, set, and it totally all leaked out, and we did find that it was a hose, high-pressure hose, leaking on it. Actually, I haven't fixed that yet because that was the first candidate that we had to try, the AC Pro product, and I tried it on the Viper, and it's still cooling, so you know, I'm going to leave well enough alone, and then when I get around to it, and of course I got another car to drive, so when I have to drive that car, then I'll for sure do it. In the meantime, Tony's, is that your wife's car, or is the Honda?
Yes,
the other?
It's our car.
Our.
She drives it, yeah, that's her car.
No, it's her. Everything's. There is no our. What do you mean?
Hopefully she's not listening.
You're married, man. There is no our to anything. What's yours is hers, and what's hers is hers.
That's a good way of putting it.
Now that we have it, how many cars do you have?
We have two.
Two. What do you say, Jan?
I said I agree.
Sure, she would agree. Yeah. And so anyway, you have two Hondas, don't you?
Yeah, and they're actually both the same year and same color. It just worked out that way. We didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah. Anyway, so hers is a CR-V, right? And it's an 8, 07?
07.
07, and to your knowledge, never been.
Right, we got it used, so I don't know if it was done before, but
okay.
When we first got it, the AC cranked fine. We've had it for about 3 or 4 years now, and we just noticed recently that it just wasn't quite blowing as cold as it used to.
So anyway, during one of the previous shows, and you could feel free to butt in anytime, folks, at 888 Car Clinic, 888-227-2546. So during one of the shows, I don't know, a month or so ago, Tony says, I'm going to buy one of those AC Pros. I said, you don't have to buy one. I've got one over here that I have in the studio. And you know, I hadn't opened it. Actually, I had two of those. One I used on my car. And so I had another one here, and I'm looking at it right now because we didn't use all of it. So we got out there and we didn't have much time because we were really busy. I think we're busier during the week than we are on. It's great to have the broadcast on Saturday because we get a break. This is fun, you know.
Yeah, this is a fun day.
All the work comes in the middle of the week, folks. I'm telling you. Anyway, so we get out there and Tony gets the camera out and I just start talking, which is what I do. And I I took the low cap off, and so Tony said, well, how do you know which one of those is the low pressure? Well, I mean, I know which one's low and high, but darn if the Honda doesn't have an L on the low and an H on the high, you know. So bottom line, we did nothing but crank up the vehicles in the shop. It was, I think, 85. We set the gauge on 85 degrees. It was probably 90 degrees, but that's neither here nor there. When I say the gauge, the AC Pro has a little V, and you're supposed to turn the center of the V to the current temperature, and then to the left of that current temperature and to the right is the field that it would be okay with regard to pressure. So it's a way to help you know when to stop charging, you know, when you reach enough pressure. The bottom line, it was way low to start with. When I say low, the pressure was way down. So was the temp. The temp was 61 degrees, 61, Tony, right?
Yeah, it's the lowest we could get it to below.
Yeah,
61.
the lowest. And again, folks, we shot a little video of this, and we haven't posted it yet, but next week Tony's going to post it online. And from a production standpoint, it's just me, you and me, and your wife's car. Anyway, the bottom line, we used the AC Pro product, and we shot it in the car, just like it says. And it didn't take 10 minutes, by the way.
It took about 6.5. The video is real time. It's just
real time.
following you as you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went. So he opened the hood, fired it up, and you know, it's kind of funny because Tony said, "Do I leave the engine running?" Duh. Yeah, you got to leave the engine running. The system.
And keep in mind, folks, I'm not a car guy. So.
Yeah, so anyway, bottom line, we plugged, literally just fast clip, quick connect the AC Pro. And I pulled the trigger, and then, you know, I said, I'm not sure if anything's happening here. And I did it several times, but I didn't want to overdo it. And so, you know, it really, and I only used the product one time before. And so the bottom line, we put it in the car. I went around, checked it with my infrared gun. We checked the temp coming out of the vents. And we found the coldest one, which is the center. The center is always the coldest one because that gives where the most air is. And the AC duct work, the ducts go out to the outside, so they're never as cool as the center. So I found the coldest spot. It was 61 degrees, and what was the end result that we got, Tony?
And it was 44, I believe.
44.
It's almost 20-degree difference.
Yeah.
And we didn't even use the whole, you know, we could have put more in there. We just didn't want to overdo it, you know.
Well, yeah, and to that end, if you do overdo it, then you could actually, with overcharge, you could actually start to reduce the cooling of the vehicle, well, because of chemical reasons. But anyway, the bottom line, physical reasons and compression and gas and all that liquid stuff. Anyway, so it really does work. And I don't know why I got into that story. I just wanted to share with you that we test and try different products because we're 50 or 60 hours a week at Bobby Likis Car Clinic Service pre-repair. So, you know, we have a couple of hundred cars a month. We've had 200,000 cars through the 43 years on the service side. So we get a chance to try a lot of products. And then every product that someone sends me, and I get them all the time, I use my own cars as guinea pig. And in this case, you know, I saved, I don't know, at least $100 that it would take to charge, because you can't, see, folks, a shop can't just add to a to a refrigerant system. A shop has to extract all the refrigerant in the car and weigh it down to the ounce and weigh it. And then, you know, if the system holds 0.8 pounds or 1.2 pounds and it's got half a pound of refrigerant in it, then you know that you go back in and you put that half pound back in plus whatever the differential is after you find the problem, if there is a problem. And there again, how do you know what's wrong with an air conditioning system? Well, you don't. But here's a candidate, and here's why, Tony, your wife's car was such a good candidate. And folks, this is where you can save money as well. If your car's air conditioning system blows, but it just doesn't feel as cool as it used to. Now, understand, you don't park a car when you go to work. You don't park a car out in front of the office in the hot sun, and then go out at lunch 4 hours later or 4.5 hours later and get in the car and expect that car to cool down by the time you go from, say 2 miles to lunch to a restaurant. I mean, no car can do that. So, and also, if you notice that the car really cooled when you came to work, well, yeah, because maybe it was in the garage or it was overnight stand. So it's called hot soak. So once a car is hot soaked, that's when the real test comes as to how powerful the AC is, because it has to not only cool the interior, but there's a lot of heated components on the exterior that continue to hot soak the car. Anyway, that's enough about air conditioner, but I just thought that you'd like to know that. Also, got a heartbreak coming up, but this program comes to you on your local AM and/or FM affiliate. Also at WatchBobbyLive.com. I'll wave out there. The number to call is 888-227-2546, and like us on Facebook.com/Bobby Likis, Twitter, Pinterest, and also Tumblr. And you can watch us on YouTube now in full screen. And then I've got a CRC giveaway. When I come back, I'll tell you all about it. Whether driving to work or for sport, your vehicle needs to perform often in an instant. Stant brings you original equipment expertise to their line of quality automotive products. Today's Instant product spotlight is on Stant thermostats. Temperatures outside are frigid, but if you're wearing mittens inside your car after a couple of miles of driving, your thermostat may be damaged. The result is a cool engine that doesn't produce enough hot water to warm the heater coil. When replacing your thermostat, reach for Stant, the #1 choice of professional installers. Featuring a limited lifetime warranty, Stant's USA-made line of SuperStat thermostats have heavy-duty springs to return the SuperStat to the closed position and prevent cold running. SuperStat thermostats feature a unique design that more accurately meters coolant until desired engine temp is reached. And Stant's patented weir valve construction gets coolant flowing as the thermostat starts to open, helping the engine get to peak operating temperature quicker. To learn more, drive to Stant.com or find them on Facebook.
O'Reilly.
Summer's heat can be draining, especially on your vehicle's battery. And O'Reilly Auto Parts has the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. Rising temperatures shorten battery life and place added stress on one that's about to fail. Don't get caught in the summer's heat with a dead battery. Get your battery tested today free of charge at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. New 2017 federal fuel economy standards present an opportunity for ethanol blends above E15. Ethanol's high-octane rating is a valuable asset to automakers, as engines are designed to increase efficiency to meet 54.5 mpg standards for car and light-duty trucks. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
When we play a game together, I probably won't say,
"Thanks for making me the focus of all your attention and energy."
I'll just give you a hug when I get a triple word score in Scrabble.
Or do a little dance as I make my first million in the game of life.
And I may not say, "Hey, this means a lot to me."
I may not say it, but you'll know.
Parker Brothers and Milton Bradley invite you to plan a family game night for your family tonight. Everybody who plays wins.
Mom, Dad, thanks for playing.
We'll be back with more music, but first a look at weather. Here's meteorologist Tom Sparks.
Thanks, Chad. There's a front moving in from the south, which is going to mix with warm air, giving us the distinct possibility for showers over the next few days. In fact, some of them are going to be big soakers, let me tell you. However, if you're planning any outdoor activities for the weekend, I have good news.
So it's going to be clear?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on car insurance by switching to Geico.
See what you could save. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I'm glad that you tuned in today. And that first segment, Tony and I were sharing a story about AC Pro. And again, I just want you to know that you always should think of having a professional to work on your automobile. But there are times when there are options. I mean, there are stop leaks for transmissions. Are they all good? No, not necessarily, because a stop leak for a transmission or a power steering or an engine, by the way, uses, here's a secret ingredient, naphthenic oil. What is naphthenic oil? You know what naphtha is? Tony, you know what naphtha? You're not a car guy, but you know what naphtha is? Do you? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. You don't know.
Don't make me look bad on air, man.
No, it's a solvent. Naphtha is a solvent. And so when you put solvent, if you put a rubber, an O-ring or a hose or anything, rubber, in solvent, it'll swell up. And so that means you could put solvent in your transmission and stop the leak. Yeah, that's probably right. It would quit working because the rubber would get so big that it would swell and it would seize, just like inflammatory joints in your arm, your elbow, your back. So the bottom line is, you got to know not how much of that stuff to use, but which product. There's a couple of products out there that I won't mention, but I could. But the bottom line is, if you can return, using a stop leak product, 10 to 12% of the resiliency that the rubber seals used to have, then that O-ring will quit leaking. And so I don't know that they have naphthenic oil in the AC Pro because it's got a sealer in it as well, but there's obviously something in there that treats the rubber O-rings, because that's what the product says, that it will do that. So, and again, I don't want to continue, on an AC Pro show. I'm just saying that what we did this week, because there's another reason, really. See, Tony's wife is expecting, and she's really expecting, like Tony. You know the answer to this one. When?
July 25th. We're
July,
2 weeks out.
2 weeks out. And he's so nervous, and so the bottom line is, and you'll see on the video, you really made her happy. You're going to make her happy with this cold air conditioner, right?
Oh yeah, we can't bring a newborn home from the hospital in a hot car. I mean, come on,
well,
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Speaking of AC Pro, we actually got David on the line.
Well,
I'll be darned.
Okay.
Pro question.
All right, I'll go to him in just a minute, but let me share this first, and then, so David, I'll come to you if you got a question about AC Pro. But anyway, folks, watch me on YouTube.com/Bobby Likis. That's Likis. Likis. We're now in full screen, true HD, 100% ad free. And before, when we global cast Bobby Likis Car Clinic, the vendor that we were using wasn't YouTube. And so right in the middle of a conversation, they'd run a commercial about, I don't know, you name it.
Dog food.
Dog food, yeah. Dog or Viagra. I mean, really. I mean, it's like, really? We're talking cars here. I want to know about this, So we for a couple of 3 years, we put up with that. And finally, through the auspices of Google, that and Tony's intuitiveness and his technical and his initiative, he reaches out to YouTube and Google, and we got to deal with them, and now we're on YouTube, so it's HD. And Tony, can't you fast forward? Or
you can't fast forward, but you can rewind. If you miss something,
okay. Yeah,
and then go back to live.
Okay, so you can rewind.
Fast forward to something that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's so smart. Okay, smart Alec. Okay, now. Here's what I'm going to give away, and then Dave, I'm coming to you, and Francis, I see you there, and Cliff, I see you there. So folks, we have more lines open at 888-227-2546. Get in. I will get to your call. Here's the inside scoop on how you can win an exclusive Bobby Likis Car Clinic contest and giveaway, and this is really easy. This week's giveaway is a CRC Industries prize pack. Two lucky fans will receive. And here's what's in the prize pack. And CRC gives us this product, and they say, well, what do you want to do with it? So in sharing that information with you, it's really easy. All you have to do is to like us, Get it? Like us, you'll love us. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, Pinterest, or Tumblr to enter for your chance to win. Now, you want to win? You got to like us. And here's what you get a chance to win. Two people, and we'll pick those people. Not on the program. This is after, but you got to do it today. Is that what the deal is, Tony?
Well, I think you have to do it by Monday. So you got all weekend.
Okay,
but,
you got all weekend.
It's strictly social media. It's all
strictly
online.
Okay, yeah. Right. Okay, thank you. I want to make sure that's perfectly clear. And here's what's going to be in the prize pack for 2 lucky fans. CRC gasoline 1-tank power renew. We use that in my shop. It works great. CRC ceramic fortified brake system grease. We also use that. And you say, well, what is it fortified? All those caliper bolts and ways and slides, you have to lubricate those things. You don't lubricate the brakes. You lubricate the parts that work the brakes and apply the brakes. So that's ceramic. It's a ceramic fortified brake system grease. CRC GDI IVD. What is that? IVD. It's intake valve cleaner for gasoline direct injection, and it's called CRC GDI IVD. You can get all this information. You can go to crcindustries.com to learn more. And there's 3 more products that we're going to give away. The CRC mass airflow sensor cleaner. And you guys, don't get carried away with that stuff. It's really strong. Follow the directions for a change on the can, because airflow mass sensors are very sophisticated, in most cases, hot wire systems. And I promise, I won't go into how it works. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. Anyway, in addition to the airflow mass airflow sensor cleaner, so we're giving away the CRC QC82 Pro Strength Degreaser. Now, that's a degreaser that you spray on your valve covers of your engine, and it does what its name implies. And then the last one, and we don't use a lot of degreaser in the shop, because when we take engines apart, we always clean the part off the car and put it back on. So we don't spray a lot of engine compartment cleaner on the engine. We do use, though, this last product, CRC Freeze Off. And Freeze Off is they put a freezing agent. Hey, I wonder if they get this from, no, I guess not. Anyway, they put a freezing agent in a can. And so if you got a rusted bolt or a nut, you freeze it. And when it contracts and expands, it breaks loose. Now, you just think about it. I mean, I don't know if you've ever broken, and I did this recently. I always preheat my coffee cup at home on the gas stove. I put it right on the burner because I like hot coffee. That's why even in the studio here, I use styrofoam, because I like to keep the coffee hot. Bottom line, you put hot coffee in a cup that's overheated and it will crack. So that's exactly the opposite of what Freeze Off does, except that's exactly what it does, but it does it with opposites physics. Anyway, all you have to do is like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Pinterest, or Tumblr to enter your chance to win for CRC, the giveaway. So let's go to David. David, thanks for calling. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I'm sorry to make you hold so long, and the rest of you folks, I'm going to come to you. I just got into one of those talkative moods. So, David, you have the mic. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Okay, thanks. I'm enjoying the show.
Thank you.
My question is about a 1994 Ford F-250. It's got the 7.3-liter turbo diesel on it.
Okay.
And the AC has gone down slowly, and now there's no AC. So listening to you, I was thinking, you know what, that AC Pro might be just the ticket. But I know that they have changed refrigerants kind of in the 94, 98 circa. I don't remember exactly when it was, but they went to a different type of refrigerant in cars, because I know some older cars, if you get them the AC completely redone, they have to kind of change some components.
Yeah. But that's
do you think I would have any problems using the AC Pro in a vehicle, or that specific vehicle, because of maybe a different refrigerant was used and the compressor's designed to push a different kind of stuff, or what do you think?
Absolutely not. What you're referring to is refrigerant that was called Freon, and it was made by DuPont, by the way. And there's a long name that I won't even try to remember or pronounce if I did remember it. But Freon was what was eventually purported to cause a hole in the ozone, so it was outlawed. And in its place is exactly what's in what's in the AC Pro, R134A. So the refrigerant is compatible. And there's also something else, and I probably need to connect with the engineer at AC Pro and find out exactly what if they'll tell me. But there's some other sealer in there. But understand this, David, you can't fix an air conditioner by adding refrigerant if the air conditioning system is broken. I mean, I don't want to insult your intelligence, but I want you to know that.
I know exactly what you're saying. If it's got a major leak or a bad compressor or something, that's not going to do me any good.
No, that's right.
It's an older truck, and the AC actually went down slowly. It went from being really cold to not quite as cold to not at all. And this happened over over 2 years. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
I don't drive the truck all the time.
It's
so
a perfect candidate.
Slow process.
Do you know if the compressor still runs at all?
You know what? I should probably check that out. I don't think when I turn on the AC,
right,
I don't think I hear the engine loading, so maybe it's not running at all.
Well, number one,
check, right?
Well, let me share this with you. Number one, is your vehicle a diesel? You said it was?
Yes, sir. It's a diesel.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't hear the compressor. Come on in anyway. I'm stopped at a traffic light, David, in my car, with the window rolled up, and this Ford, it must have been a 350. Look, I looked up, and the Ford was about, I don't know, it looked like it was 3 feet taller than my car, and it was a diesel, and it was like an earth mover next to me. But anyway. You can.
That 7.3 is particularly loud.
Yeah,
I know. Out there.
Yeah, but here, what you can do: turn the air conditioner on, and just open the hood and see if the compressor is turning. If the compressor is turning, it won't have any load. Even if you had a gasoline, you wouldn't know it, because if there's no Freon, if there's no refrigerant, then it wouldn't load the engine anyway, because there's nothing to load. It doesn't have anything to pump. So in this case, I would love it if you tried the AC Pro, and I'd be your hero if that fixed your system. And it may not permanently fix it, but by gosh, this is a good opportunity. I thank you for calling. Would you call me back and let me know how it worked?
Yeah, I'll try and do that. And you know what? You might be my hero, because July and August are going to be hot. And, I might have just the thing to get me through the summer.
There you go. Hey, thanks for your call. We'll take another call from Francis when I come back from New York. When I come back from the break, don't touch your dial. This mailbag is brought to you by K&N, the world's best air filter. John from Hartford writes, Dear Bobby, I'm retiring and my wife and I are fulfilling a dream, traveling the states in a motorhome. We found one and I was wondering. I've always used K&N filters and like being able to clean and reuse them. What do you think about K&N filters for motorhomes? John, you'll have a great time traveling cross country and we'll find a lot of company out there. For diesel pusher RVs, K&N makes a terrific filter that doesn't have to be oiled. Simply wash it, let it dry, and put it back. Also, consider K&N's high-flow air intake system for extra horsepower needed to get up to speed, especially on inclines. The K&N intake system is designed to provide excellent filtration while being less restrictive, resulting in more power. Drive safely, have fun, and give me a call from the road. Go to knfilters.com for all the reasons why K&N is the world's best air filter and products available for your RV. That's knfilters.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
This is Tom.
What's up?
Sitting in his cubicle.
Actually, it's called a workstation.
Whatever. Tom is slowly dying in his workstation.
I mean, aren't we all dying, really, if you think about it?
Let's not get philosophical, Tom. Just go to careerbliss.com. Follow companies that you find. Apply to openings right online. Check salaries and read reviews. Score a career that's perfect for you.
I feel alive!
Choose happy. careerbliss.com.
I'm your blind spot. And my job is easy. Hide big things. You're good. And if you named your own price on car insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate agents.
And now for the bonus round. If Rome wasn't built in a day, how long did it take?
3 business days. Oh, plus 1 Saturday.
Correct. A good man is hard to find. Why?
Because he's so small.
Correct. Netflix delivers movies by mail, and now what other way?
Directly to your TV.
Correct! Netflix now delivers movies 2 ways, instantly to your TV, plus DVDs by mail. Watch as many TV episodes and movies as you want for only $9 a month. Netflix! See terms of use.
It's Practical Poly Radio. I've switched to cooking with healthier oils. So now what do I do with all these tubs of lard? Skinny jeans feeling too tight? A bit of lard on your hips and thighs, and those pants slide on like a dream. So there's no need for that lard to go to waste, but get your best heart-healthy trade-up with healthier oils, like canola, olive, or other vegetable oils, which can actually lower your chances for heart disease. Learn more at heart.org/facethefats. Canola Info is the national supporter of the American Heart Association's Face the Fats campaign.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic, brought to you by Stant Corporation. Stant, bringing original equipment expertise to quality aftermarket products like fuel caps, radiator caps, and thermostats. And folks, you find Stant products for your vehicle at stant.com. And speaking of Stant, this past week was really exciting for me because I was on the air with Frank Rush, who is the be-all, end-all program director, general manager. I mean, that's what radio stations...
On-air host.
On-air host. I mean, you know, at radio stations across the nation, and for our affiliates, yeah, I'm talking about you because I know exactly what you go through every day. You have to manage the station, you know, sell airtime, host the programs. I mean, you're a jack of all trades, just like being in your own business. Well, I'm on the air with Frush. That's Frank Rush. That's
a good abbreviation.
Well, it is. It is. Frush, you know. Yeah, don't let Frank know. At the WIBQ in Terre Haute, Indiana, because Stant gave us 2 pair of tickets for the Brickyard 400. So we called Frank and said, we've got him. So here he is interviewing me on air, and we're talking about Bob TLC, which is battery, oil, brakes, tires, lights, and coolant. I won't go into that, but you can find that on Facebook. Just Google Bob TLC, B-O-B TLC, and you'll see a video that we did. And it's not for winter or summer tips. It's for year-round. It's really great. I do want to take a call from Francis. I said I would. And then Dwayne, I'm coming to you, and Cliff, all 3 of you folks. Let's go, Tony, to Francis in New York. Francis, thank you so much for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. What can I do for you?
Okay, I have a 2006 Impala, 6-cylinder.
Got it.
All of a sudden, not all of a sudden, a couple of weeks ago, it has started making noises underneath. It sounds like there's something loose under the carriage, but there hasn't been. The man at the garage told me that, and they serviced my car all the time, he told me that this is something that does happen with Impalas when they have high mileage. Have you ever heard of that?
Well, I've heard of plenty of noises, but Francis, here's the answer to that is no, it's not acceptable. Ask, when someone tells you that, it's like I've had so many people to call me and say I went to the dealer, and they say, well, they all do that. I mean, and it may be true on Toyota had some initial crank up engine noise that was real modest and moderate. It was just like a little, you barely could hear it. Of course, I'm tapping on the mic, you could hear that, but you could hear it. And once you heard it, every morning you cranked it. And I had an Admiral that brought the car to me and left it with me for 2 days because, he says, hey, Toyota should take this car back and fix it or what have you. As it turned out, yes, they all had noise, and no, it didn't have a problem. I won't go into that story, except I disagreed with what Toyota's decision was there, because because of used car residual value, if you got 2 cars and they're both healthy and they have both the same mileage and they're both the same color, and you've got them on your used car lot and you're going to sell them to me, Bobby, or Francis, and one of them makes noise when you crank the engine and the other one doesn't, which one are you going to buy? Well, that's pretty obvious. You're going to buy the one that doesn't make the noise, even if the salesman says, oh, don't worry, it's okay. They all do that. So there are times when, yes, that's true. They all have their quirks. All cars have their quirks. But let me tell you this. If that car didn't come from the factory with something banging under the carriage, it shouldn't bang now. There's something that's obviously loose, and it's not normal for a car to have noises. And rest assured, if that car belonged to Bobby Likis, it would not make that noise. I'd find out what it was one way or the other. So my advice to you, no flame intended toward your shop, get a second opinion, but don't just hand them the keys, Francis. And I'll give you a website where you can find another shop, unless you have neighbors there. And where do you live in New York, by the way?
In Binghamton.
Binghamton. Well, you should ask your neighbors for, who they, and other Chevy owners, who they use, or go by the dealer. But here's the bottom line. Do not take your car into a service shop and hand them the keys and tell them you got this noise. Go into a service shop, and I would recommend calling like a day before or so. I would recommend going in after 10 a.m. in the morning, so that between 7 or 7:30 and 10 is where they get the rush of cars that come in, and they're really busy, getting their days planned. We're in the business. That's the way it is. I mean, you hope that you're busy, and so the bottom line, about 10 o'clock, you get a breath. And just like me, about this time of the show, I catch a breath, or I take time to take a breath. So I'm telling you that the best way to communicate with your service shop is to call ahead of time and say, I'd like for you to have a technician to ride with me. And then you go in and you see Tom, Dick, or Harry, or Bobby, or whoever it was that you talk with at the service shop, and say, I'm going to you come and ride with me, and you drive the car. I mean, you can make it make the noise because it makes the noise. And then once you look at them and say, hear that noise? And then they're going to look at you, and unless they're deaf, they're going to say, yeah, I hear that noise. Then find a safe place, pull over, let them drive. Unless they say, hey, I got it, I don't need to drive. But let them drive, let them make the noise that you just made for them, and then you're almost assured that not only can they find the noise, but when they do fix it and you spend money to have it fixed, they can road test it after the repair and know that it's fixed. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And how many people do that? I mean, you'd be shocked at how many people don't do that. People come in, and I don't have anything. What I have got a pen here. They come in and they toss the keys on the counter, and they said, oh, I'm late for work, I got to do this, or my wife said the car's doing this, and take care of it. Yeah, right. Well, wait. Don't hand me your keys to your car and say I'm headed off to work unless you hand me your wallet. If you're gonna, well, you laugh, Francis, but I enjoy telling my customers that, and some of them look at me and say, well, you're trying to be a wise? No, I'm just saying, this is your child, this is your car, you pay the bills, you have to also be part of the repair. And if that makes a lot of sense, it's the way a smart, intelligent service shop owner would do to every customer. I want you to be involved in this service and this repair, unless it's a simple oil change or tire rotation or new tires, no big deal. But when you've got something that requires test time and something that is, hey, they all do it, right? So anyway, I'm a little animated because I just don't feel that in the first place, I wonder if they would tell a man the same thing that they told you as a woman. I really wonder.
I wonder too.
Yeah, really. So anyway,
well.
So my dear, you get a second opinion. You take a technician for a ride, and if he or she tells you, oh, they all do that, then fine. Say, well, let's find another 06 Impala and show me that it does it as well. That's where the rubber meets the road. You got any questions?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it all makes sense. It's practical. I mean, the simplest things are the practical things, and the good. Some of the simplest things are the good things in life. And in performing this show every year for 23 years, calls like yours drive me and just make it delightful for me to come back. And I hope that my colleagues in the new car sales and used car sales and independent service shops and chain stores and all the service shops, I hope you're listening, because this is really the way you connect with your customers. And the ones that say, "Oh, I don't care," then fine. Now, I do have customers that say, "Hey, Bobby, what's up to you? Whatever you want to do." And so unless it's going to be $1,000 or so, then I'll go ahead and take the liberty of repairing the car, because I know that it's not a big deal. But by and large, it's always a big deal. It's always too much. It's always too much money to fix cars. So it's great to be involved. I mean, you wouldn't take your child in to the doctor and say, "Okay, run along, Mary, go with Nurse Ratchet," and Nurse Ratchet. Yeah. Anyway, I have other calls, but I sure am glad you called me, and I'd love to hear back from you.
Then, in other words, you have not heard of this happening.
No.
Or that this has come. Okay.
Cars don't make noise.
And I will call you back.
I expect that you will. And cars don't make noise. I mean, they make cranking noises, they make rolling noises, but it didn't come from the factory making this noise. So
no, that's true.
Yeah, well, I rest our case, my case and your case. So let's put that case on somebody else's back, and then you get this opinion, and feel free to call me next week, and we'll see what next steps need to be taken.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Francis. Let's take a call.
Nurse Ratchet, Bobby.
Nurse Ratchet.
I don't think anybody's going to send their kid to Nurse Ratchet, regardless of the situation.
I know. Nurse Ratchet. You can't handle the truth.
And if there is a Nurse Ratchet out there, we apologize.
Well, there's no apology necessary. That was a fabulous movie with Jack Nicholson there. But can you imagine taking so your wife's 2 weeks, from the second baby, and
I'm Nurse Ratchet. I'll be your
I may make a phone
assistant.
call. I may make a phone call. That would be really cool. That would be cool. Hi, I'm Nurse Ratchet, and I'm gonna be taking care of Christina for you.
We just walk out.
Yeah, right.
Go get in the car and go to another hospital.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you have the time. Hey, folks, I want to reach out to WEGP 1390 AM in Presque Isle, Maine. Patrick Patterson, Brian Lawrence, General Manager, Program Director. How you doing? And if that's your neck of the woods, let me hear from you at 888 Car Clinic. 888-227-2546. WEGP 1390 AM, Presque Isle, Maine. Maine rhymes with Dwayne. I see Dwayne's on the phone, and also Cliff. Let's go to Cliff in New Mexico, and Dwayne, I'll be coming to you. I got time. We got time. Cliff, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. How you doing?
Hello, Bobby.
How you doing, sir?
Haven't talked to you in a while, but doing okay.
Well, you're doing more than okay. Folks, I happen to know a little history on this individual. This individual is an accomplished blind mechanic. And I didn't make any mistakes there. You're an accomplished blind mechanic, and you give us a 30-second overview of the schooling that you've accomplished.
Well, I had to take 21 different classes. I had to take a chemical class. I had to take an electrical class. I had to take a suspension and chassis class. I had to take an engine overhaul class. I had to take a transmission class, and then I had to take another transmission class. Those are separate. It's automatic and standard.
Well,
and you have to learn how to rebuild them.
That is amazing. Two things. Because I have other calls, I want to move on. I know you have a tire question, because that's what Jan's got on the screen. And would you turn your radio down for me just a bit, because I get a little feedback. But congratulations again, folks. This gentleman's been on ABC and many major networks from his accomplishment. I really, Tony and I talked about this. Don't have time to go into a lot of conversation about, the fact that you've accomplished what you have and being a blind mechanic. But I want to congratulate you. And do you had a question about tires of me?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I wanted to let you know too, Bobby, I have a job interview on Monday, so please be praying for me. I'm an assistant pastor at my church in Las Cruces, and that's where the job interview is at. It's at a new car dealership.
Really?
And yes, and so they called and asked me to come in. They wanted my resume, so I'm going in Monday. The owner, the guy that just retired, he's still involved in it, but he used to be an astronaut in Florida. His name was Borman Auto. It's called Borman Autoplex in Las Cruces.
Well, if they hire you, if they hire you, call me back and let me know. If they don't hire you, call me back and let me know.
I will do that.
Okay, and what is your congratulations?
I'm having a problem here. I just rotated some tires on my vehicle. It's an 09 Versa, 4-door hatchback.
Okay.
And it's got a 1.8. And what's happened is the guy says at Walmart that it's probably got another 10 or 15 miles to go, 10 or 15,000 miles to go on these tires.
Okay.
They're good years.
Okay.
And what's happened is it was the front tires that started to do this. They started to separate, and they could feel metal, or you could see. Says he could see it, but I could feel it.
Sure.
So I put a magnet down in the cracks, the tread of the tire.
Right.
And I started to noticing some things, but I always feel my tires because I could feel the crossbars and how low the tread is getting. That's where your angle tire. That's where your warning sign is.
Absolutely.
People used to use pennies. Remember that?
Oh yeah. We talk about that still.
Yeah, and so today we're using crossbar cross sections for wear, but there's still good wear on the tire. There's still tread, but
wait. If they're separating, it doesn't matter. They're done. You're done. You got this new tire. It's new tire time.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I told my wife that. I said, listen, even though you're rotating them, I'm still going to have to take them off because I don't want to leave them on, get down the highway doing 75 or 80, and then, and something starts happening. You have to slow it down. Yeah. The tires going to start dividing out.
Yeah.
Hey, Cliff. Coming apart.
Hey, Cliff. I'm out of time for this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic, but you know the answer to this question. If you wanted confirmation from me, you got it. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's got 930 seconds of brand new rubber left on it.
Right.
With the tread, with a cord sticking, you're done. Mm-hmm. Replace them. And folks, speaking of done, we're done. Thanks for calling, Cliff. And Dwayne, I'll come back in the second hour and take your call. Like us, you'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Fortune 500 companies choose Royal Purple lubricants to protect and improve the performance of their multi-million-dollar equipment. The same high-performance technology is also available for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or ATV. Royal Purple enhances performance and provides superior protection for anything wrapped in metal. Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. For independent tests and endorsements that document Royal Purple benefits, go to royalpurple.com. That's royalpurple.com.
I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Phase separation is the separation of gasoline and water in your tank, which can cause corrosion. All hydrocarbon gasoline with no ethanol can suspend about 0.15 teaspoons of water before it separates. E10 can suspend about 4 teaspoons. That's over 26 times more. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Well, spank my bottom and call me polyethylene. I'm recyclable. Hi, Tom Bodette for Motel 6. In the spirit of conservation, this commercial uses 100% recycled words. Yep, just like water bottles or cans of garbanzo beans. I've used all 160-odd words in this commercial before to describe Motel 6, like clean, comfortable, and lowest price of any national chain. That was a whole six-pack I just recycled there. I figure why make new words when those work just fine? So I can tell you what a great value Motel 6 always has been and still is without contributing to a verbal landfill or increasing my jargon footprint. I see it as doing our part to conserve our precious verbal resources, and that feels pretty good. Almost as good as saving money. I bet this will sound familiar too. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
My name's Roland Sands. I am a motorcycle builder, designer. Generally kind of stoked to bring things in my head to reality. That's what it is all about, bringing an idea to life. I mean, there's no more complete circle than that. That's the challenge, you know. I was around motorcycles, I mean, since I can remember, really. It's kind of been in my blood. When I was 18, I was like a drug addiction, man. Nothing else in my life really mattered a whole lot. It was like, I'm gonna go out and ride and race and try and win. So that's what I did for about 10 years. And I didn't know I was going to be a national champion, and I didn't know that I'd end up winning national road races and breaking track records and racing at the highest level. I really wanted to go and make something of myself that didn't really have to do with anybody else, because I knew that no one would be able to take that away from me, you know? Pushing myself seems kind of like a way of life. Every time I was on a bike, I'd push, and I'd always push past the limit, and now I really get the majority of my satisfaction from creation. I don't know, some people call me one of the top builders, I guess I am, but what's different is in this realm of building motorcycles, it's not about being the best as much as it's about just creating and wanting to build new stuff and cool stuff. To constantly innovate is the challenge, always doing something new and different. And today it's so tough because there's so many people building really great things, it's hard to stand out, you know? So you gotta constantly push. Creating something, it is about bringing something to life. A motorcycle to me is like the personification of that because it like involves so many different things. It involves art, fabrication, design, engineering, rubber, steel, aluminum, titanium, paint, wood, whatever you can throw at it. So motorcycles are to me like the finest display of bringing an idea to life, making it real, making something you can actually touch, feel, and ride. That's what it's all about. Being on a bike for me is just essential to life. It's the purest expression of freedom and mobility. faster you go, the harder you ride, the harder you push. You feel it so much more on a motorcycle. If you're going 100 miles an hour, you know it. It's draining physically, but also mentally, because you put so much focus into it. When you're on a bike, it strips everything else away. It just makes anything else in your life disappear. I'll never be away from bikes. It's just what I do, what my family does, what everyone I know does, so safe to say I'll be around for a little while. I don't see any other way for me personally but to just go after it every day. It just makes sense to me, so that's what I do. Life is one big project. We gotta hit it every day.
Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get started with this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you just tuned in, I want to welcome you. It's not going to be easy. Well, what's not going to be easy? It's not going to be easy to produce another hour like the first one that we just produced. That was really a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for me, and I helped a lot of people, and I hope that I helped a lot of people that maybe didn't call, but they listened, and that's where the trick is. For every caller, which is about, as we understand, about 1% of all the folks listening, when you call and we talk about your automobile, the same information or the same thing, maybe not exactly that's wrong with your car, may or be wrong with another listener's car, and that way we can all learn together. It's a fantastic opportunity to learn about automobiles and the things that you should know before you take your car into a service shop. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by CRC Industries. You can reclaim your engine's power with CRC one-tank power renew. Real test, by the way, folks. Real data, by the way, folks. And real results. And after the break, I'll tell you about our CRC giveaway, which is really going to be cool. It's all about social media in that respect for the CRC. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is also brought to you by my heartthrob, Royal Purple. I say that because I got it in all my cars and my customers. And this HMX high mileage is fantastic stuff. Tell you more, take your calls when I come back. Hey friends, Bobby Likis here. Did you know that transmissions and differentials don't have a cooling system? That's why upgrading lubricants is critical to the performance and longevity of those hard-working parts. Royal Purple's Max Gear and Max ATF not only reduce operating temperatures, but Max Gear and Max ATF also provide maximum wear protection and free up more torque. Go to royalpurple.com for more information or to find a dealer near you. That's Royal Purple, the performance oils that outperform.
If your car's air conditioning isn't blowing cold air,
it isn't,
then you need an AC Pro.
Is there one around here?
Yeah, you.
Me? But I can't.
New do-it-yourself AC Pro is the 10-minute cold air solution. It's fast, easy, and saves you money. With AC Pro, you'll have cold air blowing again in just minutes.
Wow, it's freezing in here, and I did it myself.
See? You are an AC Pro.
Yes, I am.
New AC Pro, the 10-minute do-it-yourself auto AC cold air solution.
I'm Bobby Likis with today's Engine Care Spotlight, brought to you by CRC Industries. Things just work better when they're clean, and your car's engine is no exception. You can't stop carbon in the fuel system because it's a byproduct of combustion, but you can limit and reduce the number of carbon deposits on your intake valves, piston heads, cylinder walls, and injectors. Adding CRC motor motor treatment to your fuel cleans these engine components and lubricates upper cylinders, helping cure hesitation and pings, and also restores power. Keeping your fuel system clean is only part of the solution. Stop-and-go driving, dirt, moisture, and extreme operating temperatures can cause sludge buildup in your motor oil and ultimately lead to power and performance loss. So adding CRC motor treatment to your oil will help liquefy built-up gum and varnish, cleaning sticky valve lifters and piston rings very slowly during engine operation to prevent chunks of sludge from clogging oil flow. Find more automotive maintenance solutions at crcindustries.com or find them on Facebook.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
First rule of business: hard work equals success. That's why Geico is consistently rated excellent or better in terms of financial strength. Second rule: don't steal a co-worker's egg salad, especially if it's marked the gecko. Come on, people. Geico is the third largest car insurance company in the nation. But it's not like we're kicking back now having a cup of tea. Takes a lot of sweat to become that big. Of course, geckos don't literally sweat. It's just not our thing. But I do work hard, mind you.
Home. It's the place you like to make warm and inviting. What could be more welcoming than the aroma of fresh coffee brewing? When the coffee is Starbucks, the experience only gets richer. You'll find Starbucks coffee at your grocery store so you can enjoy it at home. Its distinctive roasting style and rich, authentic taste show how seriously we pursue the art of coffee. Savor its aroma, then pour a cup and invite your senses to take flight. Starbucks coffee at your grocery store.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And I want to welcome you to this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic, and I invite you to call. Jan will take your call at 888-CAR-CLINIC and put you in a queue, and I will put you on the air. As I mentioned before at the open of the show, this segment, actually, our partner sponsors, long-term, respected, with fantastic products, is Royal Purple. And their new product that I talk about and have recently this year has been the HMX, the high mileage engine oil. And I had a gentleman to call me and ask me, he had actually rebuilt his engine. So he had break-in oil in the engine. He said, well, which oil should I use in this engine? Now, this was a classic car. And I said, well, you should use a high mileage oil. And he said, well, but the engine doesn't have high mileage on it. And so he was questioning whether or not he should use the high mileage oil on an engine that he had just rebuilt. And the bottom line, high mileage oil has zinc added and phosphorus and other, and of course it's got the Royal Purple Centerlec additive package, and they fortify that oil for an engine that has more miles on it, because an engine that has more miles on it has different needs than an engine that has no miles on it. And you say, well, what is more miles versus no miles? 75,000 and up would be considered a high mileage engine. Personally, if you got 100,000 miles on your car, then you should do it. In your next oil change, do it by, when I say upgrade to HMX, which is Royal Purple's high mileage engine oil. And I want to share this with you because it's really cool. That I'll tell you, they do it. Randy Fisher, Joe Cox. They all do a fantastic job, and I'm really proud to be a part of their organization, because they're just really, they stand for what I stand for, and that's quality, and it works. And what's really cool is that Royal Purple kicked off the summer with appearances in two of the season's hottest movies, Transformers: Age of Extinction and Earth to Echo. And it's really, really neat how that company has evolved from a little known, it was a commercial lubricant company, and the lubricant was so good, they said, well, why don't we put this stuff in cars? And they did, and it works, and I'm proud to be associated with and proud to promote and use Royal Purple products in my world and my customers' world. Okay, 888 Car Clinic, 227-2546. Dwayne, thank you for holding. I appreciate your patience. You're first up and the first out. Welcome again to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Yeah, good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, sir.
I really enjoy your show. It's very informative, so I appreciate it.
I thank you. Thanks for your kind words. It just means I'll be back next week.
All right. Yeah, I mean, down here I watch it on the television. The problem is I was telling, I think Jan, who's answering the phone, but it doesn't, it comes on after you can call in, so.
Oh, well, we do have stations that tape delay Bobby Likis Car Clinic, but the bottom line, the good news is you're going to hear yourself after the fact. What can I do for you today?
I'm calling in because I recently bought a 99 Ford Expedition as a 5.4 V8 in it that had been sitting for a while. I don't know if it's been sitting for 5 years, 3 years, but it's been sitting for a while. It came out of an estate sale.
Mm-hmm.
Got it at a good bargain, but I was just wondering, done some research on the steps, to take, and I've got some different feedback, but I wanted to call you because I know you really stress quality, and I want to make sure I do the right steps and take the right steps instead of, my buddy said, well, just put some new gas in and try starting it up and see if it starts. So I'd rather not do that. So.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Well, it's a 99 Ford. Here's the most important part. I mean, and I could go through a litany of things here, and I've done this before on cars that have been stored for a while. The safest thing to do, when I say safe, so that you don't cause a problem that doesn't exist. In other words, there are parts of that engine that have rust, and that would be the cylinder walls. It is possible that a valve could stick, at least momentarily, because some of the valves have been open and for years and years, and for ever how long it's set. And so when you take the pressure off, when the cam turns and you take the pressure off, the only thing that's going to pull those valves closed is the spring, and it may be that the stem and the valve guide have rusted and the valve will stick open momentarily. So, it'd be great if you could pre-lube. So there's what you do. You take the spark plugs out, and when you've got coil over, you got to take the coils out. That's no big deal. You got a good deal on this car. You want to make sure that you don't cause some undue damage to an engine. So the first thing that I would do is remove all of the spark plugs, and then I would take a mechanical wrench and turn the engine, making sure you turn it in the direction, counterclockwise, the direction that it turns by hand first before you ever use a starter. Because if the engine's locked up and you use a starter, you can seriously break a starter motor, a collar, or strip a flywheel, or you don't want to get in that. You don't want to go there. So remove the plugs. You can use motor oil. You can use, I'm sure there's some upper cylinder lubricant. CRC has upper cylinder lubricant. You can go to crcindustries.com and just kind of look around for what they recommend for upper cylinder lubricant. And I'm not talking about something you pour in the gas. I'm talking about something that you would use in an older car to free up broken parts. Now, so you pull the plugs, you put oil in the cylinders. Remember, you cannot replace or reinstall the plugs until you spin the engine over, and you cannot spin the engine over until you first, by hand, take a torque wrench or a large bar with a socket on it and turn the engine. And if the engine turns, you can turn it maybe a couple of turns by hand, so that you and you're going to feel some tight spots because of the way the camshaft opens and the valves open. But if you can turn it by hand, then that's all you really want to know, is you want to know that, okay, the engine's not seized. So you're with me so far?
Right. You said turn it counterclockwise, right?
Well, yeah. Just looking at the car, it turns to the right. If you're in the driver's seat, it turns to the left. But just know that looking at the engine from the front, it turns clockwise. From the driver's seat, turns the other way. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So as I'm looking at it I'm looking at it from the front of the car, which that's what I'd be doing.
Yes.
I turn it counterclockwise.
No, you turn it clockwise.
Oh, I turn it clockwise. Okay,
Yeah.
I turn it clockwise.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it
that
from
would be counterclockwise. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so that's important because you don't want to turn the engine backwards because you put a lot of strain on the tensioners for the timing chain, and they've had all this time to oil the leak down, so there's going to be slack in the chain, and you don't want the slack to be taken up on the backside. You want to pull the way it normally goes. Okay. So now that you've got it a half a turn or 3/4 of a turn, you say, hey, it turns over. It's not locked up. Then I agree with your friend. You can already put in, say, if it's got a half tank of gas, put in 5 gallons of fresh gas. You really should drain the gas, but you don't have any way to do that, so I don't recommend draining the gas. So anyway, put 5 gallons of fresh gas in it. And then, and you may want to put a new battery in it, spin the starter motor over with the spark plugs out. This is a must. And what that will do is, it will blow all the oil back out. But in blowing the oil out, it will also lubricate the pistons and cylinders and not score rings. And that's where the delicate parts are on an engine that's been stored a long time, because cylinders rust. A film of oil is supposed to be there, but it's such a thin film that rust occurs. So now we've got, and make sure it has oil. So now you got oil in it. You haven't changed the oil. You don't want to change the oil until after you run the engine and get it up to operating temperature. It's a waste of time and energy and effort. So after you spin the motor over, and you've gotten and blown all that oil out, and you'll make a mess. It's going to blow everywhere on the hood. That's okay. Then put new plugs back in it, okay? And then see if it'll start.
Okay.
So all your
put the bad gas in.
Yeah, who cares?
10 gallons of new gas.
That's overblown. Bad gas is overblown, and I've learned that because since I have followed renewable fuels, and specifically ethanol-enhanced fuels, I've learned that stuff it just doesn't do what people say it does. And I've got a car just outside the studio with 3-year-old gas in it to prove it, and I got to go for a break. What's the benefits of Polestar with Plasma Core Spark Plug? A bigger spark, more power, and longer life. Not all spark plug technology is the same. Polestar spark plugs are called Pulse Plugs because they use pulse power technology to create a superior combustion process. This turns the gas you buy at the pump into more power and miles per gallon, all while improving your throttle response. Polestar Pulse Plugs represent the first breakthrough in spark plug technology in 120 years. With a patented capacitor that delivers a controlled spark during ignition, Pulse plugs use energy stored in the capacitor for spark creation, which is released in a quick and powerful burst. The result is a 5 million watt pulse that forms an energy-dense plasma field. This plasma field interacts with a fuel mixture, which increases efficiency by burning it more quickly and completely. If that sounds high-tech, it's good. It is. The bottom line, consistent and efficient fuel combustion produces quicker throttle response and higher average horsepower and torque. Learn more about Polestar Pulse technology at polestar.com. They're not spark plugs, they're pulse plugs.
My car's a sauna. What's with this air conditioning?
You need an AC Pro.
Know any?
Yeah, you.
You got me confused with somebody else.
You're a pro with new do-it-yourself AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
But
You know where to find the hood?
That thing up front?
Exactly. AC Pro's easy, fast, and saves you money. You'll have your car's AC blowing cold air in minutes.
I did it! It's like a freezer in here.
Be a pro with new AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
Got a sweater?
Many oil filters use cheap paper filtration that fails after only a few thousand miles. That's why Royal Purple developed its new extended life oil filter. Royal Purple uses unique microglass filtration that removes 99.9% of harmful contaminants and provides extended protection. Royal Purple filters are available online and by special order at quality auto parts stores. Go to royalpurple.com for details. Royal Purple, the performance oil and filters that outperform.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Live from Progressive.
Flo here. Today we're talking to
newlyweds.
Hi, my husband and I are combining our policies, and my mother-in-law says we can save with Progressive.
Well, with online, homeowners, and multi-car discounts, saving on car insurance is easy.
So you're saying she's right?
I'm saying get used to it.
Get great savings and more at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates, Mayfield Village, Ohio. Discounts not available in all states. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Every year there are over 20 million car wrecks in this country. It's not pretty. But people bang out the dents, rebuild them, and resell them to, well, maybe you, bucko. If you're buying a used car, it's a crapshoot. Get a vehicle history report from Carfax.com. They'll give you the real history on any used car. Visit CARFAX.com or ask your dealer for a Carfax report. Don't buy a used car without Carfax.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And I want to thank you for tuning in today. And every Saturday, just remember, from 10 till noon Eastern Time, we're live on stations across the nation and also live on WatchBobbyLive.com. That's WatchBobbyLive.com, which is a really cool social media and chat room and all those sorts of things. You can really have some fun there, and you can get us even if you're out of town and you want to see what's happening. You can pause on that and rewind, and you can add me on Google Plus, and also like me. And say, speaking of liking me, we've got a CRC giveaway. I'm going to go back to Dwayne and finish my conversation with Dwayne first, because I don't want him to have to wait. He waited a while to get on the air. And then I'll tell you about the giveaway that CRC gave us product, and so I'm going to give it away and tell you how to win it. It's kind of inside scoop. So Dwayne, on your 99 Ford that's been stored for a while, you definitely want to lubricate the pistons and cylinders, which I've already explained how to do that extensively. That's really important because that's the only way you can get some upper cylinder lubricant, because, and understand this, no engine lubricates the pistons and rings until it's running. The oil that lubricates the pistons and rings comes from the rod bearings that have gotten fluid pressure and oil pressure and flows through the rod bearings and splashes underneath into the cylinders. That's how they're lubricated. And so you want to know that. Now, there are some diesels and there are some Ford's EcoBoost that has tiny jets, but they don't lubricate the cylinder walls. Those oil jets lubricate the underside of the piston for a whole other reason. But so in this case, now we've lubricated it. We've got new plugs. We've put in 5 gallons of gas, and you're going to, you got a new battery. And you're going to get in there and you're going to turn the key over, and you just may get lucky and it may fire and run and run to perfection. And that's when you run it. And once you get it fired, you should let it run for make sure it has plenty of water. I mean coolant. Check all your lubricants and things to start with, and all your fluid levels. And then when you run it a good 10 to 15 minutes. I would not drive the vehicle first. I would run it 10 to 15 minutes and see how it runs. Put it in gear. Don't drive it. Put it in reverse. Don't drive it. And see how it feels. And turn the air conditioner on, turn the blower motor on, and do all the things. Turn the heater on, even in the summertime. Turn the heater on so that you get water circulating through the heater core, and then see what the car needs, that you see immediately. And then my next concern, and I won't go through the litany of to-dos except to tell you, you must pull all the wheels and inspect the brakes before you can safely assure that the car has good brakes, because over time, brakes will seize, calipers seize, rear drums, all those sorts of things. So that's sort of my next steps for any classic car, or in your case, a 99 Ford Expedition that's been parked for a while. Any questions?
Okay, yeah, just like you said, don't drive it anywhere until you check all that out. I mean,
sure.
You said, put it in gear,
Yeah,
back it up and
the worst
forward
thing,
and push on the brakes and make sure it operates.
exactly,
on the road.
exactly. The worst thing could happen is you crank it up, man, this is great, and you put it in reverse. You go to back out, and there's somebody behind you or the next door neighbor car across the street, and the brakes didn't, and you didn't think about that until you needed them. So I want you to know ahead of time. Just consider this a dangerous vehicle until proven otherwise. And you'll be a lot safer, and you may save yourself from some grief there that you never even thought about. So,
Right. Does that gas tank, you think, sitting that long? I mean, does that have corrosion and rust and stuff in there, Bobby?
Could have.
Yeah,
It
because I was
depends.
wondering about the filter, if I should replace. Well, I guess, like you said, until you start it.
There you go. Now you're thinking. But see, you're getting ahead, and which is really, really perfect. It's right where I wanted you to be. Now you're thinking, but you got to run it first before you can see what's in the tank, because whatever's in the tank is going to end up in the fuel filter. So that's on your to-do list. Also, remember, you want to give this car a bumper-to-bumper services, fluids, power steering, transmission, differential, brake fluid, coolant, oil, fuel filter, and oil and filter. You want to do all those things in a progressive manner, as number one, as the call as it needs to, as the engine needs it, and then as you drive it, and then once you kind of get it up and running, just be careful and go out and see what it drives like and enjoy it.
Well, I figured probably the seals. I mean, 4 years. I mean.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. I've got a Porsche that I haven't driven. This year I haven't driven it in, I don't know, I think 2 years. And it still cranks and runs right outside the studio here. And I choose not to drive it. It's a classic, beautiful, as new, restored automobile. And it's sitting out there with E10 in it, by the way, with no problems, as is our generator with E10 in it, and it's no problems. I mean, ethanol just doesn't. Yeah, there's a lot of.
How long should you can you set a car? You know, I mean, I don't know. It's probably all different. Like
when you put
where you can just, you know what I mean? Is it 2 months, 6 months, a year? I mean,
a year. Royal Purple makes a fuel additive that's also a fuel stabilizer, and Max Clean. So if you put Max Clean in your gasoline and keep the tank full, 95% filled with Max Clean, which is a fuel injector cleaner and a fuel stabilizer, and your fuel's good for a year. Car sit for a year, and I have proof of that just outside my door. So anyone out there that wants to challenge that, bring it on. I've got it right here and can show you in hard facts. In fact, I'm almost embarrassed at how long I've left this fuel in the car because I don't drive the car, and I don't drive it because I choose not to drive it. It's a classic car. I don't know what it's worth. It's probably worth not as much as I think it is, but that's okay. Hey, Dwayne, got other calls. Got to go. Thank you so much for calling.
All right, well, thank you for your help.
Well, you're welcome. When you get to the other side, call me and give me a report of how it worked and what we might have missed. Okay?
All
right.
Thanks again.
You're welcome again. 888-227-2546. Here's the inside scoop on how you can win this Bobby Likis Car Clinic contest and giveaways. This week's giveaway is a CRC Industries prize pack, two prize packs, and here's what the packs include: CRC gasoline, 1-tank power renew, a ceramic fortified brake system grease, CRC Ceramic it's called, and then there's another CRC GDI IVD. Basically, it's intake valve cleaner and direct injection cleaner for the tops of your pistons. CRC mass airflow sensor, you know what that's for, obviously. And CRC QC82, it's a pro-strength degreaser, so you can clean your engines. And then CRC freeze-off. So all of those 6 items will be in a prize pack, and we have 2 prize packs. And all you have to do is like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Pinterest, or Tumblr to enter for your chance to win. Do it. It's only social media, and it's a courtesy of yours truly and CRC. For more information about CRC, go to crcindustries.com. And for answers to car questions, call 888-227-2546. Jim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Jim from New York. Hello, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Bobby, I try to listen to you every week.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Enjoy your show, and I like your courteousness and your just your knowledge of cars.
Thank you. I really appreciate your kind words. Would you turn your radio down, please?
Okay, I'm outside. Let me see if I can get away from it here.
Oh, okay, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you hear me all right now?
Man, I got you 10-4.
Okay, well, I've got a 66 Corvette I've had for years. I tune it up about every 20 years, but I only drive it. I probably have only driven it 200 miles in 20 years. Very sentimental. It's a 350 horse, 327 matching number, red on red coupe with knockoffs and side exhaust. Nice car. But they're very temperamental. They run good less than they run bad.
Is that? Do you mean they run good more often than they run bad, or they run bad more often than they run good?
Yeah, run bad more often.
Yeah, that's what I thought you. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Yeah, I'm with you.
I said it backwards, but anyway, I thought I would tune it up again, and I see you're advertising these Polestar plugs, and I just wondered if there was any benefit to them versus the AC44s, or they recommend an AC45 for city driving, or is there anything I can do to help it keep it from loading up like it does, Sometimes you really have to blow it out to get it running good. When it runs good, it runs like a there, but you're right, and I'm with you. And of course, that's typical of carbureted engines because carburetors were never really carburetors never distribute fuel evenly, and so that was always a problem. And that's ultimately why, for emissions and efficiency, and for all the reasons that that we got away from carburation. Now, having said that, the loading up part, could be the choke and other things and all this, so I won't go into that. But to answer your question about the Polestar plug, here's what I know about the Polestar plug. And we had recently Al Unser Jr. on, who, from having won 2 Indy 500s, he knows the technical aspects. Just by being Al Unser Sr.'s son, this guy's got to know a lot about cars and about racing engines. So he was interested in the Polestar technology, and he went over and talked to him and put a set in his car, and he liked it, and they performed in his street car, which I think is a Tahoe. And the bottom line, here's what I know about the plug. Where a regular plug would have 50,000 watts, this plug has 5 megawatts. And so I asked Al Unser and also the gentleman who was with him, and I think it was, what was his name? Lou Camilli, yeah, Lou, who was really a technical, he was really technical.
He was the CTO, wasn't he?
He was the chief of technology there with Polestar. This is Interpulse in Alamogordo, New Mexico, as I remember. And when I'm going to take a break, Jim, because I'm forced to. When I come back, I'll finish that story, and Mike, I'll take your call, and James, I'll get to you. 888-227-2546, and I'll be back.
Fortune 500 companies choose Royal Purple lubricants to protect and improve the performance of their multi-million-dollar equipment. The same high-performance technology is also available for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or ATV. Royal Purple enhances performance and provides superior protection for anything wrapped in metal. Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. For independent tests and endorsements that document Royal Purple benefits, go to royalpurple.com. That's royalpurple.com.
I'm Bobby Likis with today's Drive Smarter tip, brought to you by Escort, the world's best radar and laser detectors. Lime green and orange, not fashion shades, the color of car fluids on garage floors. Lime green says radiator coolant. Orange hints leaking transmission fluid. Catch these fluids on a newspaper and show them to your technician. This Drive Smarter tip is brought to you by Escort. Check out Escort's Drive into Summer event going on now through July 18. Don't just drive, drive smarter. Escort.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another great place to use Visa.
They giggle and jiggle, they jump and they sing, they poke and they play with most wondrous things. And that's just the parents. At Creative Kid Stuff in Minneapolis, you'll find the most enchanting toys and games for kids of all ages. But if you want to bring home their innovative playthings, you better bring your Visa card. Because at Creative Kid Stuff, you can let your child's imagination run wild, but you can't use American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
There are over 358 million trillion gallons of water on Earth. But not all water is created equal. Only 1/1000,000,000% is filtered naturally beneath the Earth, with a distinct balance of minerals, and emerges crisp and refreshing enough to be called Zephyr Hills. Zephyr Hills 100% natural spring water, born better.
You, my friend, have connections in the government. Yes, you. USA.gov, the official source for government information on thousands of topics. And like any good connection, there's no telling where it can take you. Why, one day you're getting student loan information. Next thing you know, you need job hunting tips. Today's road construction info could have you searching for telecommuting ideas tomorrow. The more you use USA.gov, the more uses you'll find for it. Passport applications, for example. They've been known to lead to a sudden interest in travel advisories. Our new mobile apps will even update you on the go. So whether you have information to get or ideas to give your government, check out USA.gov. Who knows? Lottery results today could lead to retirement planning tomorrow. USA.gov. With the right connections, there's no telling where you can go.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And I want to welcome you back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. What a fantastic show that we're having today. We're talking with a gentleman, Jim, in New York. And Jim, I'm going to come back to you soon. There are occasions when we just get really excited about cars. And I guess that's just my lot in life, and I'm proud of it. Joining us on a special hotline is Chip Foose, and I wasn't really sure that this was going to happen, but it did happen. So I want to welcome Chip Foose. Chip is the Hot Rod Hall of Famer and star of Velocity TV's hit series Overhauling. I hope that you've all seen it. It's a fantastic show. He does a terrific job. A big welcome of Chip Foose to Bobby Likis Car Clinic, Chip.
Pleasure to be here, Bobby. How you doing this morning?
Really fine. I know you've done overhauling for, 8 seasons now, heading up vehicle restoration projects that have changed people's lives. I've seen you on television. Tell Car Clinic listeners and viewers some of your favorite moments for the show, if you will.
It's difficult to pick a favorite moment, but I would say the one that touched me the most was the producer actually stole my personal truck, the very first vehicle I ever owned. It was a 56 Ford pickup. And they took it from my shop, stole my shop sign also. And the greatest thing he did was Bud Brutzman called my father to run the A-team, and they had a completely separate team of some of my best friends in the industry. They were in a different location. I was still filming overhauling and building cars there as well as the cars at my shop, but they took my truck and under my nose built my dream truck because I had done all the drawings and I knew exactly what I wanted to build, but I was so busy I hadn't touched it. They took it, built it, and gave it back to me at the SEMA show, and it was a very emotional moment for me.
I can imagine. Did you have any clue at all, or
I
toward
had
the end?
no idea. In fact, at the time, there's a guy in New York that was putting on some shows named Funkmaster Flex. And I was making some appearances for him, and at one of his shows, he asked me if I knew any celebrities that had cars that he could build and surprise them on his new TV show that he was going to do. And I told him I didn't know of anybody, but I'd think about it. And it was a week later that my truck disappeared, and I thought, maybe Funkmaster took it. So I was doing an appearance with him about 6 weeks later, and I thought, I'm going to get my truck. And I went to that show expecting that my truck was coming back, and it didn't happen. And I was so disappointed. And I remember one day that I was just driving down the street thinking about my truck, and I was getting real emotional, and I called my dad to talk to him about it because I bought the truck from him originally, and it was a truck that we had rebuilt our house with. We redid it, as a father and son, and that was in 1975. We took it to a show. We won Best of Show with it. It was in Hot Rod Magazine when my dad had it, and I bought it from him and had redone it a couple times, and it needed to be redone, and that's when they took it. And I remember just getting real emotional, talking to my dad about, I can't believe the truck's gone. I miss it. And he was working on it while I was talking to him.
My question at this time is, what do you think the future holds for your overhauling show, and how long do you think you can continue?
We've been filming now. This is our 8th season, but we started filming in 2003. And, it's amazing to me that I'm lucky and blessed enough to be able to do this and make a living at it, as well as have my shop. I get to build and work on cars and build people's dreams and make their automotive dream come true with the A-Team and the help of Chris Jacobs, who makes us look like professionals on television. I love doing the show. I love making these dreams come true for people, and I'm going to do it as long as they want me to, because there's 2 moments in every show that do it for me. And the first one is the feeling of accomplishment when that A-Team wraps up that car and it's finished and it's sitting in position waiting for the owner to come out and be surprised. And the other moment is when that owner is surprised and he sees it for the very first time. And when we know we've moved somebody to the point of them realizing that they've just got something that they may have never had in their lifetime had it not been for overhauling. Yeah, that's a pretty special moment. One show we did a 69 Roadrunner convertible for a guy named John. He had the car since he was 15 years old. Now he was in his mid-40s. He had 2 daughters in college. The car was not a priority. It was just in the garage. Didn't know if he would ever get to it. But from the time he bought it, when he was 15, he always wanted to put a Hemi motor in it. We put a Hemi in it, and when he took off his blindfold and saw the car for the first time, there was a Hemi badge on the fender, and he had a crack in his voice when he said, "Is there really a Hemi in it?" And we let him walk over and just lift the hood and take a look for himself. Now, John was a giant of a man, probably 6 feet, 3 inches tall, weighed about 260 pounds. And when he opened the hood and saw that Hemi motor, he dropped to his knees and started to cry. Now, on the show, we only got to show you a couple minutes of him getting emotional and then thanking all of us. But it took him over 25 minutes to compose himself enough to say thank you, because that's the type of reaction that makes you just want to do it again and again and again.
We're talking with Chip Foose from Overhauling on Velocity TV. Chip, that's a great story. Share with our Car Clinic listeners and viewers projects that you're currently working on.
Well, at our shop, we've got a 65 Impala that we've shortened 14 inches and put an 09 Corvette underneath it, and we're using everything from the Corvette underneath this car. So basically, it's an 09 Corvette with an Impala body and glass work on it, but all of that stuff has been changed. We've done a one-off grill. We've done one-off taillights. The bumpers are all custom fit. It's an amazing car that we'll be finishing up and going to compete in Detroit for the Riddler Award in March.
Chip Foose from Overhauling on Velocity TV. Everyone, tune in and watch Chip on the next surprise when they take a car and they overhaul it. Chip, great to have you joining us on Bobby Likis Car Clinic. We'll have to get you in the studio one day.
Thank you, Bobby. I'd love to.
And talking about surprise, that was a surprise. We had that planned for him to be in the, but you never know, because it's hard to get someone scheduled and get them on at a certain time. And so I'm really excited. And folks, I watch the program. I'm not an avid watcher, but I watch it. Of all the shows on Velocity, Chasing Classic Cars with Wayne Carini and Overhauling are my 2 favorite. And I want to thank Jim. Let's go back to Jim in New York. Jim, I want to thank you for holding there. We had that call hopefully set up there. And so you're a patient man, and I appreciate it. You have this 66 Corvette. And just for you to know, I have a 1980 model classic Porsche that the engine has 98,000 miles on it. The car is as new. And I have pictures of the restoration, and I spent some 9 years. And it's such a nice car that I don't drive it, because it's black metallic. It's actually an anthracite dark gray. And when it chips, it has a silver base coat underneath that dark anthracite. So when it chips from a rock chip, or when my watch hit it on one day and actually chipped the drip rail. It chips silver, so you can really, it just jumps up at you. So I can understand on your Corvette why you don't drive it often, and why when you do crank it up, it's kind of like you got to wake it up and get it running. But you were, and so again, I want to thank you for holding your patience, and I appreciate your patience.
Okay, thanks.
Now, you ask about the Polestar plug. The Polestar plug uses the existing voltage from the coil, and then it stores that voltage in a capacitor, and then that discharges, and it's 5 megawatts. And I asked Lou, and that's the individual that I talked with Al Unser Jr.
Lou Camilli.
Lou Camilli. I asked Lou, who was the technical officer for Interpulse, who makes the Pulse Star spark plug, about the tip, because if a 50,000 volt spark plug, it all of a sudden is 5 megawatts, 50,000 watts, 5 megawatts, doesn't that burn the tip off? And here's what he told me, and Jim, this was amazing. The spark plug fires 1 nanosecond. That's what the Polestar plug does. It fires 1 nanosecond. Because if it fired more, it would be like a welder. That's how much wattage there is there. So I couldn't help but believe that would significantly increase the performance, especially in your 66 Corvette, because your 66 Corvette, if it has the original coil, is shy on voltage anyway. Cars back then had 25, 30,000 volts, and cars today have more than 100,000 volts. So I definitely would, as far as fitment, they fit just like regular spark plugs. I don't know a lot about that technology, but I'm still in the studying process. But if you have any other questions, I've certainly interviewed Al Unser Jr. And Lou Camilli and talked with them, and also went online to their site before and after, and there are some tests and I'm a big white paper fan when I hear something new, because the spark plug's been around for 120 years and not any changes until they changed it, and they've worked on this for 10 years. So yeah, I'm curious and very much so about what it takes and what it delivers. And there are some white papers online that you can download and are ready to be downloaded. So I don't know, you can ask me some questions and I'll tell you if I know the answers or not.
Well, I was curious, I guess, is there a particular application for that? They only listed, I had my son, I'm not a computer-savvy guy, but I had my son look it up on the computer, and he said that they only listed one application. I was kind of curious, there's more than one engine in 66 Corvettes, and is it a fits-all deal, or?
Well, that's a good question, and here's what spark plugs. Here's the reason they're different applications. Heat range of the spark plug is determined by the combustion chamber design. And so, for instance, a Hemi engine has the spark plug located in the center. Most racing engines use one or more spark plugs located in the center. Some emissions engines early on, Toyota, and it was called a Toyota Jet motor. It was a 4-cylinder, had 8 spark plugs. I'll never forget, because I tuned up one man's car, and he came in and said, "You overcharged me." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you put 8 plugs." And I got a 4-cylinder car. I said, "Yeah, you got 8 spark plugs in that 4-cylinder engine, because you got one on the exhaust and one on the intake side of the combustion chamber." And that's because that engine was designed to run 17% exhaust emissions or exhaust gas recirculation versus, or 14% versus 7%, which is the normal. It was a California car, and it was designed for emissions way back in California when they were trying to lean the engine, and the engine would misfire, Jim, because you get an engine so lean it won't fire. So if you got 2 spark plugs, you got a better chance at making a lean cylinder fire. Now, having said that, applications are designed for heat ranges based on compression ratio, air-fuel mixture, and other physics design of the engine. But they're also based on the normal spark plug, and the normal spark plug can only take so much voltage before the tip erodes. And so and also a spark plug has to come up to operating temperature to clean itself. So the bigger the electrode, which is that center part where the fire, the voltage jumps from there to the ground, the bigger that electrode is, the longer it takes to heat it up. And lo and behold, here comes platinum. Here comes 4-tip spark plugs from Bosch. Let's see what other design spark plugs. There's been a lot of different designs. Iridium. Iridium, as I understand, actually was a big rock that fell out of the sky, or rocks that fell out of the sky, and that's where it came from. And iridium for years was never used, Jim, because it's a metal that takes like 3,000 or 4,000 degrees, and I could be off on my numbers here because this is from when it first came out. I did some studies, but the industry just didn't have the tools to make an iridium tip plug because of the high temp of the iridium and try to make that into a small tip. But if you could do that, then you could use a very small tip, which gives you it's easier to heat up and stay cool. Having said all that, it stands to reason that if you have 5 megawatts versus 50,000, that you've got a hotter spark. So the duration has to be shorter, and that's where the 1 nanosecond comes in. So that's about as much as I know for your application. I would not be afraid to try the spark plug, and I will be more than happy if you choose. I thank you for your patience as we had an opportunity there to get Chip Foose in from the California hotline. What I will do is I'll put you back on hold, which I'm going to do. I want you to give Jan your email address, or she will give you mine, and I will put you in direct contact with Lou Camilli at Interpulse. And I think that considering what kind of card you've got and the questions that you have, any answers you get, and I'll be copied, I want to know, and I need to know, because if these spark plugs work, then the application is like any car that has a spark plug. And again, thanks for your patience. I put you back on hold, and we'll get together again on the air soon. Folks, one more in closing. I want to make sure that you remember that carclinicsweepstakes.com, we have a lot of prizes, and I don't have the time to go through them, but go to carclinicsweepstakes.com and enter today, and mark your calendar next week, same time, same station, Bobby Likis, Car Clinic. Likis, you'll love us. Have a great day and take care of your car.
Reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Did you know the first flex fuel vehicle was not born in the 70s? In 1896, Henry Ford built his first automobile, the quadricycle, to run on pure ethanol. In 1908, the flex fuel Model T, designed to run on gasoline and ethanol, rolled onto American roadways. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Ethanol, RFA.
Fortune 500 companies choose Royal Purple lubricants to protect and improve the performance of their multi-million-dollar equipment. The same high-performance technology is also available for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or ATV. Royal Purple enhances performance and provides superior protection for anything wrapped in metal. Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. For independent tests and endorsements that document Royal Purple benefits, go to royalpurple.com. That's royalpurple.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Driving a cab in this town can drive you nuts. It's like hurry up and wait. Last week, I'm stuck behind a bus on Broadway when that pastrami on ride catches up with me. Ooh, heartburn big.